Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Alleged plot to kill 13 prisons officers in Trinidad and Tobago before Christmas disclosed. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, 3rd December 2021. Details when we return.
Conveniently located in the Grand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grandans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Welcome back. There is word of a possible plan to kill 13 prisons officers before Christmas in Trinidad and Tobago. Anselm Gibbs of TV6 News reports.
Following the murders of 2 prisons officers over a period of 3 days comes some chilling news.
I don't know how relevant or how accurate, but this is the information on the ground. 13 of prison officers will be killed before Christmas if they are not moved out of Building 13. That is the message that is coming from behind the walls at Building 13. Or 1 prison officer a week, that was the last information before that.
Officials from the Prisons Officers Association held a news conference on Tuesday. That's after Prisons Officer 1, Nigel Jones, was shot and killed in Siparia on Monday while out with his 3-year-old daughter. The brazen killing was caught on camera. Jones's daughter is then seen running frantically after her father was fatally shot before bystanders eventually stepped in and held and consoled the child. And 3 days before that, Prisons Officer 2, Travis Sarrett, was gunned down at his fruit and vegetable stall in Valencia.
And that institution is under serious attack by the criminal elements. And what we are not seeing conversely is any meaningful response by the state to treat with those attacks over the years.
The association says it's no longer interested in talking with the Ministry of National Security to address the issue of prisons officers' safety.
So we are calling on the Prime Minister, as head of the National Security Council, to meet with the Prison Officers Association in the quickest possible time so that we can treat with these issues, so that we can have discussions.
Now, both officers killed recently were assigned to the Wayne Jackson building at the maximum security prison, and the head of the association believes there is a link.
In just a few short decades, we have 27 prison officer killings in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, unmatched by any state in the world.
Anselm Gibbs, TV6 News.
At least 14 people have been arrested following the murders of 2 prisons officers over the last 3 days. Deputy Commissioner of Police in Trinidad and Tobago, MacDonald Jacob, says intelligence gathering exercises continue as the TTPS currently has 9 suspects in custody. Vanessa Cutting of TV6 News reports.
Following the murders of 2 prisons officers in the past 3 days, over 120 members of the TTPS hit the ground in the Northern Division overnight, arresting a total of 14 persons in connection with the incident.
At least 9 of them are deemed as suspects to be involved in these activities, and presently our investigators from the Homicide Bureau of Investigations with the support of the officers in the Northern Division, is interviewing and doing what is required to assist us in trying to solve these heinous crimes.
DCP Jacobs says other collaborative efforts are ongoing between the TTPS and the prison service to ensure the safety of prisons officers.
But it is obvious that I will not want to reveal, right, what methodology that we are using to ensure that our officers are protected. But there is, in fact, a mechanism in place.
He also responded to criticism in the public domain that police officers who were captured in the footage of the murder of Mr. Jones appeared not to respond accordingly.
Mandated to investigate that matter. The last conversation that I had is that these two officers were in fact out there, right, on police business. They were armed, right, in a police vehicle. They followed that vehicle, but in relation to the vehicle and the speed, they had lost the vehicle distance, but during that time they summoned assistance from other vehicles. So they had lost the vehicle within that area and they called for assistance.
National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines assures the prison service has the full support of the state, as he noted that a number of prisons officers have been issued firearms for their protection.
So it offers some protection, but Mr. Jones was murdered. He was in the company of his daughter. He was holding his beautiful child's hand. And he did not have an opportunity to defend himself.
He also commented on the recent murders of two servicemen at each other's hands, as he called on the citizenry not to be quick to anger.
It is not so much the firearm, It is the human person, the mind, the restraint, the professionalism, the inclination for explosion. In Trinidad and Tobago, the slightest thing is rah, 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 everybody melt down fast, hype up and then melt down. This is what they call to the public involves, to take it down.
Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
Still on Trinidad and Tobago, that country has been added to a list of countries where U.S. citizens are advised against traveling in spite of their vaccination status. More in this TTT News item.
Internationally, Trinidad and Tobago has been added to a list of countries where U.S. citizens are advised against traveling despite vaccination status. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, this country has been moved to a Level 4 COVID-19 advisory list, which includes destinations the agency believes should be avoided by U.S. travelers. Level 4 is the highest category, and travel to these destinations are to be avoided due to high levels of COVID-19. Other determining factors include vaccination rates and new case counts. The CDC advises travelers who must travel to these destinations should be fully vaccinated and adhere to all COVID-19 safety protocols as advised by the destination country.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Dr. Forbes cautions Bahamian public as U.S. confirms first case of Omicron. More in this Eyewitness News report.
Health officials on high alert as the United States has confirmed its first case of the Omicron coronavirus variant in California earlier today. The case, according to international reports, originated from an individual who traveled to South Africa on November 22nd and tested positive for COVID-19 a week later. Now, since the emergence of this new variant several days ago, the Bahamas has implemented some travel restrictions against several South African countries. And with the United States confirming that first case today, uncertainty is looming on how government will respond and whether or not this will mean a tightening of restrictions. Well, the infectious disease expert Dr. Nakia Forbes, she's suggesting tonight that restrictions might be necessary. She maintains, however, that Bahamians will need to be more cautious while continuing to adhere to health and safety protocols.
By the time variant strains of viruses, including COVID-19, by the time they're detected, it's really quite possible that they have already been dispersed in various countries in the world by the time they are detected. And they are easily spread by travel. And so we do have to take this variant very seriously. It has a lot of mutations, and that may mean that they can make vaccines less effective. It is concerning that this might be a more transmissible form of COVID-19 because it took off and became the predominant circulating strain in some areas in South Africa very, very quickly, within a number of weeks. And so we do have to do due diligence and prepare for what could be the worst case scenario.
Health officials in Barbados are keeping a close eye on the new and reportedly virulent strain of the coronavirus, Omicron. Details in this Barbados Today news item.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness says, given the available information from reputable public health agencies, it will continue to review the COVID-19 protocols and update where necessary in order to keep the population as safe as possible. In the meantime, health authorities are advising Barbadians to exercise good hygiene and to get vaccinated. There is no need to panic about the new COVID-19 variant just yet. That's the advice coming from the Pan American Health Organization Director, Dr. Carissa Etienne, who told the weekly PAHO press briefing that while experts work toward a better understanding of the variant, there is no need for panic.
There are still many unknowns. It is not yet clear whether Omicron is more transmissible than other variants or if it causes more severe disease. But researchers around the world are actively conducting studies to better understand this variant so that we have the best available evidence to guide our actions. Over the weekend, PAHO was in touch with health ministers in our region to share details about this new variant, and we will continue to share updates and guidance as it becomes available. The virus still needs to be isolated to conduct neutralization tests, and this process will take some time. Until this test and other laboratory assays are completed, we will not have enough evidence to determine the degree of transmissibility or severity of the Omicron variant, or to assess the effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccines against it.
Dr. Carissa Etienne also turned her attention to the commemoration of World AIDS Day, which is being observed today. The PAHO director says prior to the pandemic, just 65% of people living with HIV in the region were receiving ARV therapy, and as the pandemic progressed, interruptions increased fourfold, leaving millions at risk.
As we commemorate World AIDS Day, PAHO honors those who lost their lives to this disease and those who over the years have fought for new tools to protect those living with HIV. Across Latin America and the Caribbean, 2.4 million people are living with HIV, and just 81% of them know their HIV status. With proper antiretroviral or ARV treatment, people living with HIV can keep their disease in check and avoid infecting others. But this requires consistent access to these drugs. Even before the pandemic, just 65% of people living with HIV in our region were receiving ARV therapy.
In other news, old neighbors from Westbury Road, where Rihanna grew up in Barbados, chimed in to congratulate her on her rise to national hero status on the occasion of the island's 55th anniversary of independence and conversion to Republican status.
Local superstar Robin Rihanna Fenty was conferred the honor of national hero on Independence Day as Barbados marks its transition to a republic. Many people have offered congratulations to the 33-year-old pop singing sensation, including her old neighbors from Westbury Road. Residents from Rihanna's old stomping grounds told Barbados Today it was well-deserved.
I feel good about it. She deserved it. She knew a lot for the country.
Real happy, we feel real good, real good. And for that she get it and she alive still. And she's alive, she didn't get posthumously. Yeah, she get it while she's alive, so it's great, man. We feel really good.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it, people say. Yes, I am. To see a little girl that I knew growing up to become a megastar. You know, there will be some criticism, but everything happens. You know, and it's good to see one of us, especially from my neighborhood, move so far. That gives other Barbadians and other young people, you know, the opportunity to see it. It doesn't matter where you come from. Once you hone your talent, you know, and present it to the world, the sky's the limit.
Very good. You know, that Raspberry broke something this time. I'm glad. And I know that God is with her because she's a God-fearing woman. Because she came up in the church. She may be whatever other people will say, but I know that she came up in the church. And under that guidance of that Sunday school teacher, she was very fair.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.